Welcome back everyone, this is J7 bringing you another Final Fantasy Tactics build video. Today, I'm going to show you a basic Geomancer build. After watching a certain video on YouTube, a YouTuber was saying that the Geomancer was trashed here. I'm going to have to heavily disagree on that and state some facts about their class ability, Geomancy. Let's talk about the advantages of Geomancy. It includes a 100% hit rate, no charge time, no MP cost. It also has a bit more range than most magic spells, and around a 20 to 25% chance of inflicting a negative status ailment. The Geomancy effect does not target its caster, even if they are within the area of effect. Not to mention that Geomancer abilities are also very cheap and only cost 150 job points each to learn. Lastly, Geomancy damage isn't affected by faith of the caster or its target. This is my Geomancer casting a Geomancy spell on Ramza, who by the way has only 3 faith and shell on. It does decent damage still. Other magic deals next to nothing on low faith targets. This damage can be further boosted with arcane strength. In terms of support, the Geomancer's attack boost is also quite nice for physical damage dealers such as Dark Knights or Knights. The Geomancer also has a base movestat of 4, making it one of the more mobile jobs in the game. For these reasons, I believe the Geomancer isn't trashed here. In fact, I don't consider any job class in Final Fantasy Tactics to be really trashed here. Maybe the Archer, but even then, that's still up for debate. The negative aspects about the Geomancer are that Geomancy abilities, damage-wise, tend to be on the weaker side compared to things such as Darkness from the Dark Knight's job class, which is downright OP. But let's get right into the build. I recommend having a female Geomancer for 2 reasons. Female units naturally have a higher magic attack stat, so you will be dealing more damage with Geomancy. And second, I think the female units look better and more fashionable. I mean, come on, look at and compare the two. The female Geomancer's long sleeve top has more style, and her boots are kicking. The male Geomancer got this weird top and sandal-like boots showing his toes. Ugh. Clearly a big thumbs down for me. But let's move on to the abilities and equipment before I rant too long on looks. For our equipment, we are focusing mostly on increasing our magic attack stat. Rune Blade is the strongest sword you can get at the shop. It is nice since it increases our magic attack stat. Aegis Shield also gives a +1 to our magic. Lambent Hat, even though it gives slightly less HP than Thieves Cap, that extra magic attack is nice. For your robe, you can use a Wizard or Lordly Robe. We are going to primarily use Wizard Robe since it's much easier to get and it gives 2 magic attack as opposed to 1. For your accessory, I recommend tying a Rogue since it gives Protect, Shell, Haste, and +3 magic and +3 attack. Not to mention it absorbs and boosts Holy too. If you're unable to get this because you're on the original version of Final Fantasy Tactics, or you accidentally threw out a Grias, the Mage Power Glove is the next best thing since it gives you +2 magic. For your secondary, I like Drow or Ido. Even though it is the Samurai class ability, its damage is based on one's own magic attack stat, so it can be a great secondary for jobs that have high magic attack, like Black Mages and Summoners. The abilities don't have a charge time, and damaging katana abilities won't target yourself or allies, and buffs from katanas such as Masamune and Kiyomori will only affect allies if enemies are close by. I highly recommend using Muramasa for the most part since it does good damage and can be easily bought at the shop. Masamune and Chirijadarin are really good too, but can be tricky since it is harder to get more than 1 of these each. For your reaction ability, I like Mana Shield since Geomancers don't rely on MP for their abilities, and some late game enemies like Red Chocobos and even Dragons can easily do 500+ damage. As long as you have at least 1 MP point, Mana Shield will always take the damage for you as long as it goes off, so increase your base bravery to 97. For your support, tack on Arcane Strength, aka Magic Attack Up, to further increase your damage by your abilities. For your movement, I like Mana Front or Move MP Up, if you're familiar with the old name more. Just keep moving every turn so it will restore some MP, which is key to surviving against enemies that do insane damage. With this setup, you will be nearly invulnerable. It is very vulnerable, however, to negative status ailments such as stone or sleep. And the lack of HP that your Geomancer will have is also a negative, assuming if Mana Shield doesn't go off or you're out of MP points. I hope everyone enjoyed this video. If there are any questions or anything, please leave a comment and I'll be sure to answer or help you out. Have a great one, and lastly, Geomancers aren't trash tier or any job class for that matter.